Good morning. So we had a wild night here in Michigan. So there's some days that you just want to get up and you just need to move a little bit, you know? Let's see how that goes. Don't even just do this in your pajamas if you need to. Okay, here we go. We're going to be on the floor. I want you to get your rod. That's very important to have your rod. I've adjusted my little camera here. So I think we're good to go. All right. So when you get up and there's kind of stormy weather, you must know it's a real thing that the barometer changes. That impacts our joints. That impacts our muscles. How you feel, especially if there's no sun. So put that in the mix. And we're just going to do some moving. Okay, let's pretend that you just don't feel like doing a lot. Just keep your pajamas on. Step wide. Step in. Step up on the pad. So I've got my pad. I have my kitchen chair. And I have my bar that I'm going to be using. Okay, I'm going to step back down. I'm going to just use my bar as a measurement of how my shoulders are rolling. So I'm going to step up into my pad just to get myself moving. And when I do this motion and I step down, my hand is right in front of my face. See that? Okay, look at my elbow. Okay, when that comes down, you step back up on that pad. I'm warning you. Just be ready. You're barefooted. Many of us are barefooted. And you're going to step up. And it's going to throw you at some point. Maybe not each time. But you're going to overstep or understep. So every time you step onto your pad, barefooted, your feet, your ankles, your hips, your back has to adjust. Now, before you step down at this point, all I want you to do is just act like you're treading grapes. Okay? Yeah, some of you know from the I Love Lucy episodes, treading grapes. Yeah, that funny one. And I might suggest, so for who knows what anybody is ever going through in their life. So tread your grapes and you're on this smishy pad. Keep your rib cage up and just keep rolling your shoulders. See this? My shoulders are down and I'm just moving through my shoulders as I'm treading the grapes. So I go into the ball of the foot, then back into the heel. Ball of the foot, back into the heel. Don't go fast. Just go steady. So every time I do this, see, I bring my hand right here to my nose. Take a big breath in through the nose. That means that's a nice way to say, shut your mouth. So when you breathe in through the nose, drop your shoulders. Those two should go together. Drop your shoulders, keep treading the grapes, treading the grapes, treading the grapes. You're going to the ball of the foot, to the heel. See, I'm not moving my feet, so I don't lose my place wherever I'm at on my little pillow. But now I'm going to just step side. And I'm going to keep my hands going, and I'm going to step side. I'm not going to go fast, but I'm going to step side and side and side and side. I'm getting y'all ready to do some real targeted moves when we get down into the ground. So we are going to go to the ground. See, every time I come up, I put the back of my hand on my nose. And I take a big breath through my nose. And when I breathe through my nose, and I take that step, what is the trigger for when you breathe through your nose? What are you supposed to do with your shoulders? See, I'm touching my nose and I'm dropping my shoulders. You've got to drop your shoulders. Yeah, and why am I hammering at that? Because when we tense up for any reason, I don't care if it's something you see that you know agitates you or whatever. I don't care if it's stepping up on this pad, which is a little smishy. You know what you start doing? You hold your tension in your shoulders and you bring them up. You don't even know you're doing it. And then no wonder you're so sore. If you had a stressful situation for any reason, physical, mental, emotional, you hold it up here. So those of us who have rounded shoulder issues, forward head issues, that all plays into it. So I'm giving you a little routine right now to help you get a hold of that very it's a very pervasive habit that doesn't do you any good. Okay, so you just see how I'm stepping off? See how I'm stepping off? Now I'm going to step forward, but the whole time my shoulders are going down. And when every time I step anywhere, I'm breathing in through my nose. See, I'm stepping to the front right now. I'm doing it very gently because I want my feet to feel. I'm opening the toes. And whenever that you sit, make sure you're staying right in the middle and you're on this spongy pad. It's one of the best things you can do to help you get a sense of where you are in your space. It's called proprioception. And I'm holding this bar and I'm on purpose trying to drop my shoulders. Then we did our smashing of the grapes. Some of you were on and some of you are just come on. So I'm backing out of the moves that we did just to get us warmed up and ready. And I told you at the beginning of this episode, I'm going to put this on is, you don't feel like exercising? Well, keep your pajamas on and just move through this class. Just move. See how I'm going to do this again? So I'm backing out of the moves that I just did with you. And if you've been doing every one of these with me, you're starting to feel a little warm. That's what I want. You know why? That I'm doing it in this way. And I'm starting with these very, some people might say they're very simple moves. Well, when I go to the ball of my foot and I press a little, then I go to the heel and then I go to the ball of the other foot. Guess what has to, as a chain link, move all the way up to your back, shoulders. My hand is going right at my nose. I'm breathing in through my nose and you're getting warm. And I'm doing it in this manner because I want you to feel better at the end of class. That's the reason. You don't jump in and just start rip-roaring on joints that have been replaced and or are having arthritis problems and or osteoporosis problems, lupus problems. You don't just start ripping and roaring on them and think you're going to get better. You're probably not. And then you quit doing movement because it got you too sore. So I'm going to step to the side and I'm going to bring that back of the hand right to my nose. And why am I telling you to bring it right to and touching your nose? Because I know what people do. See, I didn't say slugs, I said people. But sluggy people is what I specialize in. I call you super slugs, okay? So every time I do this and I step off, even if it's 2 inches, I got to bring that back of that hand, touch my nose. Number 1, it makes me breathe through my nose to remind myself to breathe through my nose. Number 2, and this is the big one, Every time I do this and touch my nose and breathe in through my nose, what do I do with my shoulders? I drop them. Yes. That is so important. And then I back off. And I back off. Then I'm going to bring my little bar right under my chin. See that? I'm going to step wide. And I'm going to take a big sweep. And I'm going to push my butt back. And I'm going to come all the way down as far as I can to wherever that bar comes. It could be the toes. It could be the shins. Maybe you can only come to the knees. That's okay. Push into your heels and then come up. And when you bring the bar up, here we go now. We're stepping into higher movements. See, I'm going to bring it up. Do not make your wrist break on this. Keep them neutral. Keep your elbows down, your shoulders down, your elbows back, and then you're going to rotate. You're going to come right here to the top of the head. See that? Then I'm going to do the big swoop. I'm not going any higher than the head. Then I'm going to push my butt back, butt back. I'm going to come down as far as I feel I can come. Maybe I can come all the way to where my toes are. Maybe to my shins. Maybe I can only come to my knees. That's fine. Push into the heels. Then press, come up, and here we go again. So here's the move that's very, very, has to be very nuanced. I mean, you have to really think about it, okay? When you come up with the bar, with your shoulders, especially if you have a tricky shoulder, watch what you're doing with your wrist, with your elbows. You're going to bring it up. You're going to rotate it all the way up and go right on top of the head. See that? Just like that. Then from there, you're going to come up a little bit and come back to the head. Not much. See, come up a little bit, come to the head. Come up a little bit, come to the head. All right, now we're going to do the big swoop. We're going to go swoop. Drop your shoulders right now. Drop your shoulders. Push your butt back. Push your butt back. Push your butt back. Push your butt back. Come all the way down as far as you feel you can with that bar, as if it were laying across your toes. Now, you might not have been able to get down there that far. If you can come to your shin, come to your shin. What you cannot do is round your back. See how I got to bend my knees and I'm going down here as far as I can go. Then I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to bring her all the way up to the top of my head again. See that? Second move for the shoulder here is one arm goes down and one arm goes over my head. See that? My elbow's pointing up. See that? Take a big deep breath, step wide. Soften your knees like you're riding a horse, okay? Then I'm gonna rotate. Okay, this move, going from the other couple of moves that where we were with the bar, these moves are very important in shoulder issues. Because what's our goal? Normal functional range. Yeah. If you will take one side and the other, and see, I'm acting like I'm riding a horse. My knees are soft. My toes are pointed forward. I'm taking breaths through my nose. And when I come down with my elbow, I come way down and back. See that? And I don't go fast. And then I just rest my hand on top of my head and bring that elbow back. See that? And I might do this, a couple of minutes, because this is going to ready you for the big move in your shoulder. Okay? And again, when I'm standing like this with my rib cage up, I'm on all four corners of my feet right now. My knees are pretty bent, okay? They're not just soft. It's almost like they're riding a horse, okay? that constant pressure in standing in this manner is really a positive move for your hips, for your knees, for your back. Then when you add the rotation that we're doing with the shoulders, and you're keeping this constant gentle pressure on the quads, on the gluteals, on the muscles surrounding the knee and the hip, and then the constant pressure on your feet, this works. This is such a good move to do, especially if you have joint issues. Take a big deep breath. One more time. Here we go. Keep the shoulders down. Some of you have let your shoulders go up. Don't let your shoulders go up. Drop. Big breath. Big breath through the nose. Yeah? Okay. Now take the hands right here on the top. See this? They're right here. See where my elbows are? They're not excessively flared. Do you notice that? They're right beside me. Now all I want you to do is go from the top of your head to the back of your head. That's it. Especially if you have shoulder issues. Don't think you've got to go way down right now. Top of the head, take a breath. Just come to the back of the head without dipping your head forward. I know it. Some of you want to dip your head forward. Don't do it. Keep your ears over your shoulders. Just bring it right down, just about an inch down. Then go right back to the top of the head. Take a big breath. Yeah. Push. Yeah, just back, just to the top of the head. See that? I bring it just from the top to an inch down. Then I come back. Okay? Take the big swooping move all the way down that we just did, all the way down, all the way down, all the way down. Go as far down as you feel you can. When you're down as far as you feel you can be, whether it's at the toes, whether it's at the shins, whether it's only at the knees, do not round your back. Keep your knees bent. Now when you're down as far as you can go, just for a couple of seconds, straighten your legs. You cannot straighten your legs if your back is flexed. Okay, go back into a bend. Come up, 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 press into those heels, and you're up. Keep your bar. Lay it right down beside you. We're going to use it in the floor as we get down there. Okay, so here's my chair. Number one. I'm going to put it so that I can use it as my kind of my targeted range of motion. So I'm going to bring my knee in front and my leg in back. So it's a big split stance there. Do you see what I'm doing? I'm going into the heel. Now see, I'm doing all this pretending that you're in your pajamas, okay? And I might add, I'm dressed so that I don't freeze at the end of class because we're dropping about 20 degrees in 1 hour. Maybe not 20, but almost 20. Okay, see what I'm doing? See my heel and back? It won't quite go down, okay? Because you're tight. You're tight, and this is my knee replace side, okay? I'm just trying to put my knee down and back, and then I will just switch. See that? So just like, exactly like I had you hold the stance before with your feet, like you're riding a horse, now I'm going to do the same kind of training for my shoulders and back. So my elbows are soft. I'm holding into this position, shoulders over wrist, and I'm switching my legs back and forth. And I'm keeping my tummy super tight. My shoulders are down. I'm pushing into my heel. And each time I switch, what I want you to do is make a note of how your calf feels. how your heel feels, how your foot feels. And at the same time, I'm keeping my elbows just a gently soft, but my shoulders are down. As I'm holding this, I'm breathing in through the nose. Then I'm going to switch again. See that? Take a big deep breath, drop your shoulders. You are over, you're pressing gently into your hands, not hard. So I can tell you from the first time I put my foot back to now this time, now I can pretty much put my heel down and back with the leg that's in back. Okay? Drop your shoulders, you're holding with the upper body right here. It's just a gentle hold. Your elbows are soft, your shoulders are down, and you're trying to get your heel all the way down and back. You got it? Yeah. Okay, take a big deep breath, come back. You're gonna reach out past your chair and really pull through the lats right through here. So you're gonna really push through, push through, push through, push through, push through, push through the chair with your hands, push back with your butt. Then you're gonna come up, press into the feet, come up. I'm gonna turn the chair around. Okay? Now, the reason I turn the chair around, and you can do this at a wall, you could do it at a kitchen counter, because I want something in front of me, whether it's a wall, a chair, a bed, a counter, you get to choose. But do you see what I'm doing right now? I'm going from a straight stand, softening my knees, pushing my hip bones forward. Try to remember this move because we're going to do this very move in a little different way when we get down on the floor. This move, if you have a wonky back or if you have wonky hips, you got to really understand how to execute this move. It's a back hyperextension. See, my knees are not locked. My knees are soft. My shoulders are down. But if I was doing this in front of a wall, see, I could put my hands up on the wall, but then I would just come back down and I would just push my hips forward. And I would bring the hands right down here to the sides of my face or my fingers under my chin, just like that. Bring them out, bring them out. Keep pushing, keep softening your knees. Open back, open back, open back. Keep your chin tucked and then come back out of that, okay? You might be doing this and leaning up against a wall, okay? With your shoulders back like that and pushing your hips out. I put the chair here in front of me because I don't have a wall to lean against. So now we're gonna take that same move and we're gonna take it down into the ground, okay? So here's our little chair. I've got my little bar right here that I'm gonna be using, okay? And I got my little pad if I need it to put my head under. But as I come down to the floor position, in our little mobility moves today, I'm gonna go right here and put my elbows right on my knees. Now, what's the very first thing that you tend to want to do the minute you lean in and put your elbows on your knees? What do? The very first thing we always do is we don't think about our shoulders, and that's why the shoulders come way up to the ears. So it's not even that would be the problem. It's that you round your back. So I'm going to keep my back very extended with my elbows on my knees and drop my shoulders, okay? Now, keeping your back extended, I want you to round just the upper part of your shoulders and bring them to the ears. all the way up, and you're pushing your shoulders actually back while you're pressing your elbows, okay? Then you reverse that. So it's kind of a modified cat camel. See this? Anybody that has like a rounded shoulder issue, forward head syndrome, just get used to this move right here. You can do it anywhere you're seated. You're going to push your back. You're going to drop your chin. Then you're going to rotate, push your chest forward, drop your shoulders. Then you're going to rotate and come back. Take a big deep breath. Big deep breath, and rotate. Drop your shoulders, push down. Okay, once you've done that, now you're ready to go down as far as you feel you can with your hands here. And put one elbow into your knee. See how I'm turning? And I'm pushing with my elbow. One elbow is resting here. One elbow is pushing. Then I come straight. So this one is not only for your groin adductors, but it's for shoulders. Because see, I'm doing a gentle push and I'm dropping. Pushing, dropping, pushing, dropping, pushing, dropping. So that should be, you've set up a whole cascade of stretches here for your inner thigh, for your shoulder, all the way across your vertebrae in the upper shoulder area. And then you come center, and then you rotate. Now, when you rotate, you put your knee down, and this one is the perfect one that hopefully is in your repertoire of ones that you've learned that I do a lot of, especially for joints replaced, because see, this is an opening here as I lean myself back, and it's opening my foot because my toes are curled under there, okay? Take a big deep breath through your nose, turn, and while you're leaned back, keep your knee down, keep your shoulders down, and turn as much as you possibly can to one side and hang out there for a few seconds, okay? Like if you can get to 30 seconds with your shoulders down and really pulling and looking over the chair, great, do that. Come straight on, do the other side. I'm gonna turn, see how my toes are under, my knee is down. I'm gonna grab this chair, then I'm gonna lean back. That's very important here, but your knee has to be headed down. Lean back so that you can feel that big opening of the front hip. Then I'm going to grab my chair as I'm holding into this position, drop my shoulders, and I'm going to turn my upper body as much as I can, but I got to keep leaning back. Take a big deep breath. Big deep breath, big deep breath, big deep breath. Hang out here for just a few seconds more. Big deep breath, and then release and come back. And you might have to revisit that a couple of times because you finally got in your position to open this hip, okay? And to get a little press into a stretch position on these quads. That's very difficult to do when you have hips and knees replaced. This is a good way to do it. Okay, we're heading into the floor, okay? You can do it from your chair and come down that way, or you can come down straight on, okay? You get to choose. I'm gonna come right here, just turn, and if you need to, put your knee on the pad. That's perfectly fine. If you're on your knee to come down, use your pad however you need to get yourself in a all fours position. So if this all fours position does not work for you, you can do everything we're going to do pretty much in your chair. So you just have a sit down on your chair, or you take this position. See, we can do all kinds of stuff from this position. If I lay down, I can be in this position. I can be sitting. So either on all fours or from the chair, whichever that you'd like, okay? So at first, whenever I get in this position, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep my toes under. See that? Meaning I'm in dorsiflexion with my foot. Okay, that's number one. I'm just gonna gently push back on those toes. See how I'm just pushing back a little bit? I can't go back very far with my knee replacement side. Okay, it's just not gonna happen. So put a gentle pressure on your feet in this position. See how the toes are underneath? And do you see how I'm pushing back, just gently stretching my foot? I can't even tell you how important it is to just even get to this position on a regular basis with your toes really getting a stretch, your toes and your foot. After you've held it there for a little bit, then go ahead and just slide them out and then go straight with your toes and then go down to your elbows, okay? So go right into the elbows, push back gently, your feet are flat, then come right back up. I know you thought you were home free. No. So now I'm back up on my hands. If your wrists bother you, go to your fist periodically, but don't 100% avoid putting pressure on 90-degree bend in your wrist, okay? We need to try to keep pushing so that you can put a gentle pressure on your wrist. Keep your shoulders down, then go to your elbow, and then come back up, okay? And some of you might think, oh, I'm not getting anything out of that. Well, let me just explain to you that when you're on your wrist like this, and let's say you have joint issues, and the first thing people want you to do is move your joints, and that's the first thing you don't want to do. Holding yourself in this position, going up into a cat and into a camel with your wrist in this position, and then periodically pulling your toes under and pressing into them is getting your joints, especially your shoulders, ready for higher motion, okay? So I'm gonna go way up into the cat, madcat, and then camel, okay? Then I'm gonna go down to my elbows. Anytime I start getting tired, I will go down to my elbows, and then I will actually crawl right on out and come to a prone position, okay? So in this position now, I'm moving back to position myself. I'm gonna drop my shoulders, okay? And I'm pushing into my elbows. So you should notice this move from the move that we did standing in our chair, right? Now, instead of just holding it here for a bit and longer than what we normally would if we were going to go straight into another move, I'm going to go right back up. So why would I do that? I'm pushing into my elbows, I'm dropping my shoulders, and I'm lifting my hips. See that? What do I have to do in order to get back into this position and coming back up? And you know what? If I got you down here, if I took any one of you by yourselves, did it with you, come down to the elbow. See, I'm not going fast. I am not going fast. I'm crawling out. And at this point, right here, before you put your hips all the way down, you should notice you are really using abdominal muscles. And you're using them functionally, okay, to get yourself to move better. Now I'm going to drop my shoulders. I'm going to take a big deep breath, and I'm going to do it one more time. But as I was saying, if I took, see how I'm lifting and I'm moving myself back? And I'm gonna come all the way up, and I'm keeping my shoulders down, taking big breaths through my nose. I'm gonna go into a cat camel. I'm moving my spine gently up, gently down, all the way up. Then I'm gonna do that little combat crawl. And before I'm ready to put my hips all the way down, I'm just gonna hang out here for a little bit. See that? So it's kind of a modified plank. I'm going from my knees, I'm dropping my shoulders, definitely using my abdominals. Then I come down and I go into that gentle hyperextension. When you're in this position, and I'm gonna do this one more time at the end of this class, with pillows, okay? Drop your shoulders, yes. Now, I'm going to bring my hands out, and I'm just gonna go, I'm not gonna go way up with my shoulders. I'm bringing my elbows up, and I'm gonna put my forehead down on my hands. At this point, I'm gonna raise my elbows, and I'm gonna act like somebody's pulling my head and shoulders up. So I'm down here, I'm gonna raise my elbows, and then I'm going to tighten in on my gluteals, and I'm gonna lift the back part of my head, and I'm gonna hold it. I'm gonna take a big breath, and I'm gonna go down, okay? Now I'm hoping that you guys are staying with me on this, okay? These are some very neglected moves that we typically just don't take the time to do. And I've done them in many different ways in class, but I hope you will pull this recording up and even advance it to get to this point. Your elbows are up, your shoulders are down, your forehead is down on your hands. You're gonna lift your elbows, and then you're gonna tighten the gluteals, and you're gonna lift your hands with your head attached, your forehead attached to your hands. You're gonna hold it here. You're gonna take breaths. Your feet are down. You're gonna take breaths. You're gonna take breaths, and then your elbows go down and your hands go down. So then you rotate, you roll your ankles back out. And as you're resting with your head, all you have to do is turn your head one side, then the other. So you're trying to put your ear on your hands, ear on your hands. Rotate those legs back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Okay, get ready. And we're gonna do it one more time. We're gonna drop our shoulders, number one. Number two, put the forehead on the hands. Then we're gonna start to squeeze our gluteals. Tighten our tummy, lift your elbows, and now the head comes up with your forehead attached to the backs of your hands. And you're hanging out here. Take a breath, take a breath, take a breath, take a breath, and come down. Keep your feet down. You can go from toes down to toes pointed. Toes down to toes pointed. Turn your head. Turn your head. So this is all a great playing field to do shoulder work, to do back work, every bit of it. So now I'm going to take my little bar, and I've got my hands right here beside me, and I'm going to come up, okay, and I'm going to lift one hand right here. I'm going to lift one hand, then I'm going to bring the other one, and I'm going to rotate. See this? So I'm going to rotate from one side to the other side. Take a breath, hold, keep your chin tucked. One side to the other side. One side to the other side. Maybe toss the pull, maybe 2 times, 3 times. Put your hands down, put your forehead down. Take a big breath. Okay, now the upper is gonna rest, and now we're gonna hit the lower body. So we're right down here. Number 1, tightening your gluteals real tight, tightening your tummy. That will help you maintain neutral spine. Then what you're gonna do is lift one leg, and then you're gonna re-tighten and lift the other leg. And you're gonna go point flex, point flex. So you're gonna rotate. Again, do not lift until you've tightened in your tummy and tightened in your gluteal. You're gonna lift, point flex, point flex, point flex. Rotate. Take a big breath, point flex, point flex, point flex. Then drop. Tighten, point flex, point flex. And rotate, point flex, point flex. And come down. Now we're ready to take the bar. And you remember what we did when we were standing on our little pad? The bar was where? It was on top of the head, correct? I hope you're able to see this. Okay, so I'm gonna tuck my chin. My bar is on top of my head, and I'm just gonna move the bar out. And I'm gonna let it float from the top of the head all the way out above my head. And I'm gonna do that a couple times. Take a breath. And then I'm gonna put it down. I'm gonna put my hands down. Then I'm gonna rotate right here to the side. So you're just rotating right to the side, okay? You're gonna bring your knee forward, just like that. See that? Just like that. Now, you could, if your shoulder's giving you trouble, you could do this lying down like this. That would be fine. Then you're gonna open that arm all the way back. Open it, open it, open it. The knee comes forward and open the leg as far as you feel you can. Take a big deep breath, big deep breath, big deep breath. Then you bring it in, you bring it down, you bring it down. You rotate. You're gonna be on the other side. I'm rotating, bring that knee up. Open this hand all the way out. Okay, you're opening the pectorals, the chest, the arm, and you're really straightening that front leg, that top leg, as much as you can, but you're holding down here. Keep your elbow bent if you need to. If you get a sticking point in your shoulder, just bend your elbow. Take a big breath, take a big breath, take a big breath, hold it, hold it, hold it. Then you bring it in, and you bring it in, and you bring it in. Okay? Now we're down here on the floor with our elbows down, with our shoulders down. And this position, very important position for you to keep trying to do. Now we're gonna do the little combat thing where I'm gonna raise my hips. I'm gonna crawl back. I'm gonna go all the way back as far as I can. I'm gonna push my toes under. And I'm gonna put my forehead right down on my forehead, right on my fist, okay? And just be there for a few seconds, just a few seconds. Take a big deep breath. So as somebody with a knee replacement and a hip replacement, this one is much harder because it's tighter. My knee is very tight in that position, okay? But it's a really good position for me to keep trying to do because I don't want that knee to stiffen up more than it is. So I have to keep mobile. Okay, so I'm gonna go into this hands and knees, yes. So this is just like the dead bug position that we're gonna get here in just a second. It's very important for you to get into this position, for you to come down, for you to crawl out, and for you to get into the position where you can lift one leg and then the other leg back and forth, keeping your shoulders in a good position. You can do them modified, where your shoulders are down, you're not raising your hands, or you can, once you've gotten to where you're able to get into this position, tighten up the gluteal, lift it, point flex, keep your chin tucked. You can, at some point, decide you want to raise the opposite hand, the opposite hand, the opposite leg, opposite hand, opposite leg. And all you're doing is bringing that shoulder up above your head. Take a breath, then come back down, do a point flex, rotate. Now we're going to go right back into the dead bug position. And on today's move, you can either use the chair. Today's moves on the floor, again, I'm going through some pretty important hip and shoulder moves specifically for better mobility, okay? So here's my little bar, here's my little pad here, and here's my chair. You may not want to do the chair press. Maybe that's a little too much because we're going to lift our hips. But I want you to raise just the 2 inches. That's kind of important to try to do that in the next moves that we're going to be doing. So I'm right here. For some of you, that may be very hard to sit in this position. Okay, I understand. You know, it is what it is. So do the best you can to try to get in a leaned back position so you do not round your back. So I'm right here. I'm going to go to the side and I'm going to lay down. Okay, and why did I do that? So I can get down on the floor several ways. I'm giving you options. There are some of you out there doing this with me that you should not put too much pressure going back. Number one, you can't maintain extended spine. You're rounded. If that's the case, you're going to put strain on your back in order to get down. That's why I turned, went to the elbow, and went down that way. Okay, so you can do either way. Whenever I go down and I'm in this position, I can use my hands under my legs and help pull myself down into this lay down position. So I would encourage you to try to do both ways, depending on what your issues are. So once your feet are right here on the floor, we're going to go into dead bug. We're going to take our bar in the dead bug position. Okay. And I'm gonna tell you a position for your spine right now that a lot of people don't think about. Number one, I don't want to cram my spine down into the floor. Okay. I want to be able to put my fingertips under the small of my back. That's number one. And then I lock in that position. That's neutral spine. Think of those little teeny play cars or your fingers. You want to be able to get your fingers under the small of your back. After you've achieved that, now your hands are up and you're going to keep your elbows bent and you're going to kind of see what is your end range. And if something's in your way, then move out of the way. But if you can bring your bar over your head in this position, this is a really good move. Now, again, I'm going to tell you, make sure that you keep a little small a little small space right at your small of your back. Okay. Now I'm just resting. See, I'm not lifting anything. My elbows are bent, and I'm just resting this bar right here with my elbows down, my shoulders down. Take a big breath. Take a heel and put it right on that pad. Position your pad so that you're right on the pad, then bring it back. Okay. Now let me give you a little check right here. See how I'm touching with my heel and then I come back? Okay, if I were with you, it's just me and you doing this workout, and I was checking your position, you know what I would check? I would, right now, I would just poke right here because I want this abdominal, all these abdominal muscles activated right here. I would check to make sure your shoulders are down, rolling in, that your elbows are just leaning on the ground, just melt into the ground. But then I would check to make sure there's a little space at the small of your back. Because then when you do this very simple move, you get great training for your tummy to let your shoulders finally open. You're not putting pressure on it. You're just doing a tapping, taking a breath, and a tapping, taking a breath. And then you bring those shoulders up with that bar and you go into your dead bug position. See that? Then you can make it really hard. You can go straight out with a leg and bring it down and bring it back. And you should be, if you have hips replaced and you have knees replaced, doing this move very slowly, very carefully. You can do point flex with your foot if you want to, but the position of your back, keep your shoulders down and just opening that leg a little bit. You don't even have to go all the way straight. Just open it a little bit. See that? That's a big deal. And you should be feeling your stomach, taking breaths in and out. Exhale on exertion, and you're holding with your shoulders down. You're holding this bar right above the head. Okay, and I'm doing a tap, tap, tap. And then I'm going to bring the arms down, and I'm going to go into that position where the bar is just over my head. My elbows are bent, and I'm just going to drop my shoulders. Then I'm going to go point, flex, and then I'm going to take one leg. I don't care which. And I'm going to open that leg and I'm going to roll it as far as I feel I can. So this is my hip replace side. And I'm not going to push it, but I am going to motor. I'm going to do the mobility to open through the groin, to open and to let that hip just fall right down there onto the floor if possible. I can't quite get that one down there. Take a big deep breath. Keep the small of the back open. Keep your elbows right down onto the floor. Don't let your elbows come up. That's the thing. That's the parameter. Don't let the elbows come up right here. Keep them down. Keep your shoulder down. Open that leg out. Take a breath. Take a breath in through the nose. Take a breath in through the nose. Right there, right there, right there, right there. Bring it back. Okay, now take one leg up. Point flex. Keep that knee bent over the tummy right here. Keep it bent right there. Point flex, point flex. Bring that leg back as far as it can go. And then switch. See this? Point flex, point flex. Should be stretching the backs of those legs. Yes. Drop your shoulders right now. Drop your shoulders. Take a big breath through the nose. Big breath, big breath, big breath. Bring it back. Now put one leg down, other leg down. Okay, we are ready. Woo! Ready Now I'm going to bring my hands up like this. See that rotation? See this rotation? This is kind of a big deal for anybody with shoulder issues. This right here. See this? Do it very carefully. You may find a little sticking point, but you're trying to gently get your mobility to work in all these ranges. And one of the best ways to do that is with a bar down on the ground, doing very simple moves like we're doing right now. Okay? Now I've got my heels in my little pad, and I'm going to tuck my rear end. Okay? I'm just going to tuck the gluteals. Tuck. And I'm going to start lifting, 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 lifting. I'm going to come all the way up there. I'm going to hang out here, keep my hands down. Take big deep breaths. Come down, 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 down. Rotate the spine. So you want to go in that hyperextension, and then you want to rotate, and you want to bring the pelvic up first, all the way up, all the way up, all the way up. Take big deep breaths, and exhale, exhale, exhale. One vertebrae at a time, all the way down, release. Here we go, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Come all the way up, 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 all the way up, all the way up. Squeeze tight. And then come back down, come back down, come back down. Take a big breath. We got 2 more that we're going to do in this little segment here. I want you to focus not on how many you're doing. I want you to hold. I want you to just focus on breathing. And as you're coming down, you need to feel each vertebrae move. Okay? And then you release that tension. Okay? Then you tight. Again, lift. The very bottom vertebrae comes up first, all the way up, all the way up, all the way up. Now we're going to hold it there. We're going to rotate our hands, bring them up. Take a big deep breath, go across, then across. Hold up, hold your rear end all the way up, hold it up. Stay tight, take a breath, take a breath, take a breath, take a breath. Come down, come down, come down, come down. Then you bring your legs down. They're just a little bit elevated there, and you just push the feet down and up. And the pad is a really good launcher for this. See how my calves are right on there, unless my feet do my little swimming moves with your feet pointing and flexing. Very good position. So it's right here. And now I want you to just bring your bar down, put your hands up, take a big breath, and just melt. Drop your shoulders, just melt. Release everything. You're just raise just that little bit with your feet. Take big deep breaths, just melt right into there. Melt right into there, melt right into there. And then bring the feet up. Rotate to the side. The feet are raised onto that little pad, and then the knees go to the side. So this is I call it the wave. Okay. So there's a couple of main moves that I launched into some other moves with. And this is one of the main moves that if you have back issues, you need to get used to being able to do this. It will help relieve so much pain, so much. Then after I do that, I'm going to rotate to the side. I'm going to push my hands like that. I'm going to come right up here on my hands and knees. And I'm going to bring my feet back. I'm going to press into my toes one more time. I'm going to go wide with my toes. I hope you notice that. The biggest mistake a lot of people make trying to get up like this is they're too narrow. Go wide. After you're wide with your toes, then you're going to press into your feet. And you're going to come right here and equalize. Take big deep breaths through the nose. And then you come up. So I didn't get to the pillow part. But when we were in the hyperextension, I had some pillows here. And if you're ever having a tight episode with your back, you get pillows underneath you so that you don't have to do a lot of muscle contracting, and you lay in that hyperextended position for a while, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Anyway, I hope after coming up, you're feeling like, oh my goodness, what just happened? I hope you feel better. Now, you can go out and get all the branches that came down last night.